A demonstration using the Thermostat with Michael Futch.
Hey, this is Mike, I'm a local technician here out of Jacksonville, Florida. And today I have the Thermostat. I'm going to show you how I would connect this up in order to test the system. As of right now, we don't have a voltage short issue, but I am going to show you at least how I would hook this up and check continuity, as well as just check voltages on the system and seeing what it's doing. So at this moment, I do have the power turned off before I make these connections so I can do it safely, and then we'll power it up and show you the different functions behind the tool. So this does have a magnetic back where you can put it on the side of the unit. Today I'm actually going to use the hook function, and I'm going to allow that to give you a little better display on the tool here. So you have all of your wires which are designated for their certain functions, and then as far as connecting up your red and your common, you are going to have to maintain a polarity specific connection. So in here, common will go to common with the unit, which is typically brown with carrier units. Then all the other colors are as normal. And so when you're doing these connections, always keep in mind these are alligator clips with exposed edges, so just make sure nothing's touching ground. And then as far as how we are set up now, I'm ready to turn the power on. So one other thing to keep in mind is this is a 24 volt tool. So in other words, you're going to need to verify that you're not getting any back feeds of 120 volts or 240 volts depending on your power input to the unit. So always test with your multimeter first what your voltages are before you make your connections, and that'll keep from damaging the actual Thermostat. And so as this system sits currently, everything is in the off mode. And as you see, the only wire that's engaged currently is our O from the thermostat. So some thermostats will engage that cooling reversing valve. Just if you have it in cooling and turn it off, it'll keep it engaged. So now we're completely off. In other words, there are no active calls for this system. So right now this is in analyze mode. So when this goes through different stages, you will see LEDs light up depending on what your thermostat's calling for. One thing we are going to go ahead and test now is a continuity check. So in other words, all the wires that I have connected up, these are showing that these wires are connected to something and it is getting signal back. So in these cases where you have wire breaks, this is a good indicator of at least letting you know that everything's solid and everything's connected. So if I take, let's say, the white wire off, you'll see there's no connection there that it's sensing. And then as far as the continuity mode is concerned, I'd also say that, let's say if you have a rub out situation where you have two wires touching together, you can use this function to find out which two wires are actually active. Just by process of elimination. Take one wire off, take another wire off, so on and so forth, and you'll see through the LED display where that fault is coming from. Also down here is a voltage indicator. when these voltages, when these LEDs drop out and you're only left with your questions, this would be under load conditions. This will tell you your voltage drop is going below tolerance. And that's detailed in the instruction manual on where that tolerance level is. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch this into activate mode. And what we're going to want to do with this is go through the stages of a thermostat so you can test this equipment remotely. So in other words, when you're testing and cooling, you would always turn on your reversing valve first. Your next step would be your blower motor. Blower motor's on. Then your next step, I'm going to test cooling. And then the condenser has a 5-minute delay on it, so you would have to wait for your delay time to expire, and then the system will activate. And then lastly, you can also test, this system doesn't have a heat kit installed, but you'll hear the blower motor ramp up based on this test. So in other words, this would activate your heat strip, and then you can verify whether everything's working appropriately. So now we're back to the analyze function, and I'll just turn the thermostat on, and you should get signals lining up accordingly. So as of right now, thermostat is calling for cooling. You have your fan, your orange, and your Y signals going. The compressor is running back here in the back as tested. So again, real easy tool. This will allow you to do this remotely from an attic space. If you're on a rooftop, this would help greatly. Even if you're just working on a condenser and you just want to test the function of it, this thing saves you from having to go back into the house, turn on the thermostat, and all those extra steps. So again, great tool for the functionality that you would need, just having a remote thermostat available to do so. So great service diagnostic tool. I recommend having one of these on all your trucks. Check with your local distributors and ask for the ZS-2, and this will help you speed up your service calls and be more productive, efficient, and ultimately more chances to sell something. So thanks for coming in with us today while we test through the ZS-2 for you. And then, as always, be safe, wear your PPE, and go out there and make some money. We'll see you guys later.